Hey guys, what's up? Daniel here. Today we're taking a look at Apple's latest iPad, which is visually just like any iPad that we've gotten before, except that this one is a little bit less expensive. Now, as most of you might know, Apple is aiming this iPad at the education market, and they claim that this iPad is faster than any Chromebook in its price range. And whether or not that's true, I fail to see how a $300 price tag for schools is a good enough price. Now, it's $300 for schools, and for normal consumers, it is $330. If you're a student, you can get it for a little bit cheaper than $330. And this does not come with the Apple Pencil or any case or anything like that. So if you do plan on getting this and you want the Apple Pencil and you want a case, you're gonna have to be ready to spend around $500, which for $500 you might be able to find a better laptop for school. So that is definitely something to keep in mind. Now, opening up the box, of course, you're gonna get the tablet, which I got in silver for a reason that I will get into later. And in the box, you, of course, are also going to get the starting guide, stickers, charging block, and a lightning cable, nothing else. One of the things I noticed when I first picked up this iPad was that it felt very cheap and heavy, and that's because it is quite heavy compared to other iPads. It's also a little bit thicker, and it feels cheap because it's a little bit hollow inside. And that is due to the fact that it doesn't have a laminated display, which basically means that you have a gap of air between the glass that you touch and the actual display underneath the glass. So this gives it that kind of a cheap feeling whenever you tap on the glass. This is also going to cause more glare, so if you're in a brightly lit classroom or anything like that with a lot of lights from the top, you are going to get a lot of glare, and it makes it kind of hard to see what you're looking at, and it kind of washes down the display. However, if you can avoid that glare, the display does look great. And I believe every iPad since the iPad Air 2 has been laminated, so if you use any of those like the iPad Pro or anything, you've used a laminated display, or if you have an iPhone, and the difference is quite a bit. It's definitely not a huge difference where you would be better off spending $300 more for the iPad Pro, but it's definitely worth noting that that's a feature that is lacking here. Another thing that's lacking here is True Tone, which basically looks at the light around you and changes the display's temperature to match that around you so that it's easier on your eyes. That works really well on other tablets and devices. However, it is not here, so don't expect that to be here. However, I don't think it's a huge turnoff. Now, upon booting the iPad, you'll be guided through Apple's setup, which has gotten less quick over the years, and there's quite a bit of things to do here, but here's where you connect your Wi-Fi, your iCloud account, set up Siri and Touch ID, or you can skip all those things. Now, one feature that we do have here with this iPad is that it supports the Apple Pencil. Now, if you want the Apple Pencil, that's gonna be an extra $100, which brings the price of this to roughly $430, $440. And if you are a student, you can get that for a little bit cheaper. Definitely not significantly cheaper, but you'll save some bucks if you are going to buy this. And the Apple Pencil works perfectly fine with this. There's really nothing to complain. It works just like it does on my iPad Pro 9.7 inch. And of course, it does work better on the 10.5 inch iPad Pro, but that's only because it has a better refresh rate. It makes a difference basically only if you are, constantly drawing things and are basically a professional at doing digital work. Now, the internals of this iPad include an A10 Fusion chip, which is not the latest and greatest, but it's definitely really fast if you're going to do video editing, multitasking, or gaming. So it's going to work for all that, especially if you're using this for school and not professional work. And it runs quite a bit better than other iPads in the past. Definitely not the current iPad Pro models, but than my iPad Pro, it does quite a bit better, especially when you open up a game like Fortnite. There's also a big difference on Wi-Fi compared to my old iPad, which I saw that this new iPad was just a lot better at loading things, and even in Fortnite, I was lagging on my iPad, but not on this new one. So here we have the game running on the new iPad, and you'll notice that everything looks amazing. The trees, everything is vibrant and beautiful. And then we hop over to my iPad Pro, and everything is bogged down, very kind of dark, and nowhere near as nice, and the game lags quite a bit, both on Wi-Fi and just kind of like the server itself. There seem to be some issues with this iPad, and yeah, that's something to keep in mind. If you're looking for just an iPad to run Fortnite, then this is going to work really well. Of course, you're probably not. I just thought this was worth mentioning and showing, since it does show the capabilities of this tablet. So I think given the price, it is a good tablet, and it's definitely really fast if you are looking into getting this. Now, of course, as you see in the video, the iPad screen is really bright and the colors are great. I would even say that it might look a little bit better than my old iPad Pro, or that might be just me, but it does look really good. Now, as mentioned before, the lack of a laminated display does mean there is going to be glare, which you could kind of fix a little bit by adding a screen protector. I personally like matte screen protectors just because those work really great with the Apple Pencil, since it gives it more of a papery feeling than a glass one. And like I mentioned before, I got the silver model mainly because I wanted to show you guys the black borders around the display, which are very noticeable, especially with the lack of lamination. So I personally recommend going with the space gray here if you want it to look a little bit more premium and want to maybe subdue the fact that it's not laminated and make it look a little bit better. If you don't mind that, of course, either color is fine. On the back, we do have a camera which takes good pictures. It's an 8 megapixel camera which can record 1080p video. On the front, we have a 1.2 megapixel camera which can record 720p video. Definitely nothing special, but it works if you're going to do some document scanning, FaceTiming, or anything like that. Now, battery life is roughly 10 hours, and it usually means that you'll be doing some word processing, watching some YouTube videos, and maybe playing around with the Apple Pencil a little bit. You definitely won't get 10 hours if you're watching a movie and also writing up a paper while connected to a Bluetooth keyboard or anything like that. So it really depends and it varies on what you're doing. If you're just doing one task simply with not max brightness, you'll definitely get those 10 hours. But that's pretty much it, guys. It's a very boring iPad and there's really not much to cover here. It's very easy to make a video here and just for me to mention that Apple has stopped innovating, blah, blah, blah. Oh, this should have been cheaper, etc., etc. Should this iPad been less expensive? Yes, especially for schools that are considering buying these, because for $300, I think that is too expensive. You're going to buy 1,000 of these, especially if you get Apple Pencils or add a case on it. Now, is the iPad worth it at the current price? Well, yeah, if you're in the market for an iPad from Apple, then yes, you will like this iPad and it will serve its purpose. It's really fast and it's an overall really great tablet. It has some cons, but every tablet and every device out there does. However, for $300 less, this thing is great and will work perfectly. Now, one of the things that a lot of people comment is that you might become an iSheep if you buy one of these. Personally, I have not noticed anybody become a sheep after purchasing an Apple branded product. However, your experience may vary, but I do not believe that is very likely to happen. Now, if you're going to school, is this the best option for you? Not really. I would prefer a Chromebook for school. I prefer Google Docs, Google Photos, Google Spreadsheets, and prefer the laptop form factor when doing my work, and I hate having to fiddle around with cases and external keyboards and things like that. My brother got a Chromebook from his school and I would take that over the iPad if the school was lending them out. However, if I was going out there with my own money to buy something, I would buy the iPad, and that's just because of its versatility. For $330, I think it's good. You're getting a good tablet and it works as you would expect. So yeah, it's good. With that said, that was a quick look at Apple's new iPad. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about the $330 price tag. Is it too much or is it too little? Is Apple giving these away? Let me know in the comments, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me as well on there, or at RMRDNL or at Dark Gadgets on Twitter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Goodbye.